guess you're up first.
The board asked me to be here. Do you want to know what my capital planning projects are for the upcoming year?
Yeah.
Okay, I've got a couple, actually. We've been experiencing some problems with our phone system. It's dropping lines on us. And the system, from what I can see, was last serviced in 2005. And it's an outdated system, and right now, I can't even find anybody to service it. I've had companies come in, they said, we'll look at it, we'll give you a quote on giving you a new system, but we are not servicing the existing system. I'm still trying to find someone to service it, and if I can do that, I will. But in the meantime, I've got a quote on a new phone system, which right now includes caller ID, which we don't currently have, which I think in today's day and age is vitally important with hang-up calls. And it's a soup to nuts installation, so I've got. This was the only quote I got. I know it's over the threshold, so we have to get some more quotes on it, but this is what I've got put together. And again, I'm still looking for someone to service the current system. So with this system, it will include, basically, essentially, they're going to use the existing wires that are in the building, but a complete new system for us. So if you want to take a look at that. And also, this quote is off of the state bid list. So, and I know what, I actually have another quote here that is not. This would not need to go out to bid. Get that right in front of you.
Yeah.
Okay. Extra one
for David.
Okay. This is off the state bid list, so we wouldn't need to go out to bid on that, but it is a $9,500 system.
Okay, we have free maintenance for how long on
The one quote that I have, I believe it's a 5-year parts warranty and 1 year on labor.
5-year in parts and 1 year in labor?
And actually, the telephone system that we use now, and I can't remember the name of it, and it's such a wire of V. We're having trouble now, the phones are dying on us, and we can't find replacement phones for them that are compatible with the system. The last time we ordered phones was out of Florida. It was about 5 years ago. We got 2. We just used the second one. So now I can't find phones. Well, I mean, we're still looking, but I think it's time that we looked at replacing the system. So if the board wants to take a look at that.
Okay. You mentioned that you may be looking for another police car.
I actually, in this year's budget, I proposed one in this year's budget. And Jerry, you and I talked about that. I believe Bill has mentioned that subject before I talked to the Board of Selectmen. I put that as a line in my budget this year.
So that would give you 3 this year. Didn't you get approval for 2?
We got approval for 2, and those cars are going to be ready virtually any day. I should be picking them up. The problem is I have 2 that won't pass. One didn't pass inspection, one that won't. They need to be scrapped. The 2 line cars that I'm using now both have over 150,000 miles on them. One I think has over 165,000 miles on it. So even with the 2 new cars, getting the 2 new cars in, I have nothing to fall back on. If I have a breakdown, a repair, God forbid a collision, warranty work, if I have a detail that requires a cruiser, there are a number of things I could use another car for, and I don't have anything to fall back on. Last week, both the line cars were down getting repaired for electrical issues. The only vehicles that I had on the road were the loaner car from MHQ and the government Humvee. Those are the only 2 vehicles I had left.
I have to ask a question. If the town approved the department to have 2 new cars in November, why didn't we get them in November or December?
I can answer that question actually with a phone number. If you want to call the salesman from MHQ, because I've heard every song and dance in the book from him. These are not things that you can just go to the lot, pick it up, and drive it home.
So they don't have any vehicles on the lot?
When we ordered the cars, no, they didn't. They were waiting for their shipment from Ford. So I've heard, like I said, I've heard every song and dance. I heard it's going to be 3 days. I heard it's going to be 4 weeks. On the left side, any day.
Why don't you just keep the loaner?
He actually called me up and said, he had someone else who was interested in the loaner. I said, you can have the loaner when I get my cars. I said, other than that, report it's stolen because you're not getting it back until I get my cars.
Excuse me, you have a room for the
Chief, this phone system is for the police department, or
Yes.
is it? It's not dispatch system, that's all been reworked, isn't it?
No, this would be dispatch also.
No, yeah.
No, the entire computer system has been redone, but this is an antiquated phone system. Like I said, we're having problems getting service and parts. And it's already dropped 3 lines on us.
This is dispatch too?
Yep.
Does it drop any of the 911 calls?
911 is a dedicated system that will always work. It works completely independent of us.
And, for Steve here, you have a $9,500 for the new system, has a 5-year warranty on parts and a 1-year on labor.
It's also off the state bid list, so we wouldn't have to go out and solicit bids.
Sure. Will you be looking for more quotes than just this?
If it's on the state bid list, you're not going to get a lower quote.
You're not going to get a lower quote. May I ask you a question about the things that's going on all over the country with the police being rocking people, beating up on people and everything like that?
Yeah.
Have you really thought about getting any cameras in the cars to protect the police and also protect the town as far as
I've wanted cameras in the
as far as
cars.
legal action?
I've wanted cameras in the cars for quite some time, and that's the other quote that I've got for you. This is WatchGuard Video. I actually saw them at the trade show when I went. These are in-car video systems. And I'll give you I got copies to this too. You want to keep one for David?
David.
Okay. And also, we currently don't record booking videos. So I also solicited a quote for a booking room video that includes 2 cameras. I have enough copies of that one too.
I thought you did. You don't.
No, we don't record. We had a system, that system broke.
Oh, I see.
So
You
now,
used to.
not since I've been here. No, well, we did for a short
Long
time,
time
but
ago.
we can't extract the video from the hard drive anymore.
Okay.
So these are quotes on cruiser videos. I spoke with the salesman. I called for verification today to set up each car. And let me just back up, the court is frequently asking us for booking videos. And right now we can't provide them. This system would provide for a dome-style camera and an additional camera inside the booking room. So we have 2 different angles with the entire booking, audio and video. And to have that, and I believe there's a warranty on that also. I've spoken to some other chiefs who've had the system installed, they're very happy with it. But the one that I'm more interested in, or equally as interested in, is the in-car video. We've never had in-car video. I had in-car video
Like
at
backseat video, like in-car for the person in the backseat.
This would actually, the way these video systems work is when the cruiser, these videos record all the time. When the car is driving, they're recording.
Sure.
They record for the entire, if the car is turned on, the video is recording. One of the benefits of this system is if an incident happens that we need to review afterwards, we can go back into the hard drive and extract the data and create an incident. So hypothetically, say Bill Schlosstein is wanted for armed robbery of Spencer Savings Bank. Last known direction was Old West Brookfield Road towards West Brookfield. Well, at the time of the robbery, one of the cars was coming down Old West Brookfield Road. No blue lights on. We'd be able to verify that Bill was in fact on Old West Brookfield Road because it would show up on the stored video. We can then create an incident. These recordings, once the blue lights go on, everything is recorded from there. So on an OUI stop, it would record the entire field sobriety test. These cameras have the capability of you can reverse the direction of the camera so that once the prisoner is in the back of the cruiser,
That's what I was.
they're on video the
Sure.
entire time. And an example, I dealt with a couple of complaints earlier this year where had I had either in-car video or booking room video, I could have put both the complaints to sleep in about 5 minutes, because they both would have exonerated the officers. And I spend an awful lot of time defending those frivolous complaints. And these are, I mean, these are pieces of equipment that can be transferred between vehicles. It's the newest technology.
You used to have booking room video, I mean, you used to have cameras inside the police department, correct?
They monitor. They don't record. There's still cameras
I'm
there.
not sure what that means. I mean, you mean they take video, but they don't take permanent video?
They just, it's in real time. Dispatcher can watch in real time. But it
Oh, I
doesn't-
see, okay.
It can't be
Sure.
extrapolated from the hard drive.
Sure, okay, so it's not recorded.
Right.
Okay.
Chief, who would have access to the hard drive?
Me, and the sergeant, and the court officer.
And
All the, I'm
can-
sorry,
Can those be turned off by the officer and the cruiser?
no,
No.
no. As long as the car is running, the video is recording. So I mean, it can be a very valuable system. One of the officers that currently works on the department had this identical system in the last place that he worked, and he was one of the people who strongly encouraged him wearing this back. So to Jerry, in a nutshell, you're absolutely right. In today's day and age, with everything that's happening, this acts as a safeguard to the tenants, like an insurance policy.
How long would you store these videos?
I'm not sure. I want to say, depending on the size of the hard drive, and I believe it's a 200 gig hard drive, it can store quite a bit of data on it. But again, if we had an incident, typically we're going to know within 24 hours. You know, even if we had to go back and extract the data afterwards, we're going to know. I'm not, as far as the timeline, I'm not sure. But one of the things I found out from installing booking room video and in-car video is it reduces complaints against officers and the department by almost 90%. And I can tell you of a true incident that I had years ago where a young gentleman was arrested, accused the officer of hitting him, came in, gave a written statement. We took his statement and then informed him that there was a video. He recanted his statement.
Would the videos be, say, like for a month or 2 months, or?
I'll be completely honest, I have no idea how long they're recorded for, but any incident, if the tapes can be used at trial, if, say, in example is for an OUI arrest, the officer takes a video, there's a thumb drive that goes with it, he can then take the thumb drive, bring it into the station, download the video, burn the disc, use it as evidence.
So this information has been changing dramatically. Oftentimes what they do is they say that they can keep the video for 30 days unless there's a charge. And if there's a charge and it's a viable charge, they can keep it until the charge is displaced.
I think this,
And I think
yeah, this will keep
this
it a
is
certain amount of time.
This might be different. This might be wrong. This might be different than what Jerry is saying. But what happens normally is that they get to keep it for a certain amount of time, and unless there's a charge, it's dropped. This might be forever. Who knows? But unless there's a charge, and if there's a charge, then they can be kept until the charge is dropped or displaced. You know, if it goes to court, and it could take years. I mean, you know, so they could keep the video for years. But this, I don't know what this is. So
Wouldn't they be kept either on a disk separately and individually, or on the computers?
it doesn't really matter where it's kept. It's a file. It
Yeah.
could be kept anywhere.
But
You know,
if
in the
they're
cloud
on
or
this, it's
whatever.
gonna go away after a certain amount of time, correct?
It never really goes away. I mean, but this is changing a lot. You know, this
Oh, yeah.
information.
Oh,
So what usually happens is that it's kept until there's a charge, and if there is a charge, it can be kept indefinitely, for years.
Yeah.
Because sometimes it takes years to prosecute.
Oh, sure.
And that's completely viable, but I'm not sure what Jerry's getting at, but, you know.
If the motor vehicle stop was for a drunk driving,
Mhm.
and the field sobriety test is on video, The video, the officer removes his thumb drive from and brings it into the station, plugs it into the computer in there, and burns the DVD right there. And so that's forever. Booking room videos, those are forever. Only if there's an incident that is, we need to go back and extrapolate the data afterwards, then we'd have to, there's a time frame. So those are the two projects that I'm interested in for this year.
So these are separate?
They're
Yes,
separate
yes,
quotes.
one
He couldn't give it to me as one quote. I think altogether it's 14,000, I want to say 14,551.
So this is like 9,000,
But
10,000.
there are two cruises that the 48, 20.
These are separate
per car.
per car?
Per car.
Okay. So this is not a joint thing, this is per car?
Per car, and this is for the 5215 is for booking.
This is the
That's
48?
why I highlighted them up on the top for you. This one says interview room and that one says police. Those for that entire video.
Okay, so rounding this off, both of these would be about $10,000. 48,
No.
48,
The
How many
48,
cars?
the 4820 is times two.
oh, times two?
Yeah.
Just 2 cars?
Just two.
So that would be-
Chief, is there any annual fees incurred with this?
No.
This is it, this is the
Buy it
fee.
out.
So you buy it outright, you own it.
Yeah.
So there's no monthly fee, yearly fee, membership
No
fee.
licensing fees or anything?
No, same thing on the phone system. We would own it.
So you're talking about 15,000 for the video cameras, and 9,500 roughly for the.
For the phone system. I can solicit some more
Is there-
quotes
is
on the
there-
videos from other companies that supply videos. I met this salesman at the trade show. He came out, did a demo. He actually recently just went out to Hadley, did a demo out there. Wilbraham uses this system. Northampton uses this system. Sturbridge uses this system. So I think the other quotes will be compatible. We might be able to save a couple of dollars. I'm not sure what the features are, but.
Could you say that the other two towns use this system, so we couldn't really get a quote, say, for the 3 towns and then get a reduced price or something like
I
that?
wish that was possible. They already have.
Now, with the phone systems at $9,500, is there any jeopardy to the community with these phones being down in a sense?
The 3 lines that have dropped so far have been fax lines.
Have been fax lines?
If I can find someone to service this system, and we've been trying, maybe it can be repaired, I don't know, but I wanted to bring this before the committee so it's on your radar. If I can find someone to service the system and repair it, then it's problem solved, then we can throw these quotes away, but I wanted to at least put it on your radar.
Would you be going to the town looking for a article to get these?
Likely,
In the May?
And if I can find, that's again a decision. I think that I would like to do it for May if I can't find anybody to service the system. Because my fear is that if we keep dropping lines, then we're gonna have a real problem.
So you'd be looking for about $25,000 roughly.
All said and done. And again, these are all, I would anticipate that this equipment will last for years.
I was just gonna ask you what the life expectancy of these would be.
On the phone system, I can tell you that this phone system has not been serviced in 10 years.
No, if you were to get the new phone system, what would be the estimated life of it?
I honestly, I can't answer that. I would have to think that unless technology changes dramatically through the wireless.
Which it does.
Which it does, but I think that for the foreseeable future, it's a long-term investment.
I have a question.
Yeah.
I don't know how to phrase it.
Throw it out.
Isn't that area condemned? The
No.
police station?
That's a question for the committee that oversees that building.
I mean, if this new system goes into that building, can it be moved if you guys get a new building?
I would assume so.
Okay.
I would assume so.
I would assume so too. I mean, this is a contract for
The system itself.
wireless or internet kind of. This
Personal
is not,
property.
yeah, this is not, doesn't matter where you live.
Okay,
You could live at my house and have the system,
okay.
so.
Any questions for the
It's not.
chief on any?
Yeah,
Back to the car, here's an email, January 20th from the chief to you, Jerry,
Yeah,
citing fiscal 15, Newmark Police Cruiser as a backup vehicle for directed patrols, providing extra manpower and as a backup in case of a mechanical failure or maintenance of one of the frontline cars. This was after 2 SUVs were authorized for purchase. Well, I'm not understanding that. You want a third line car?
Yes.
In fiscal 15, we're in fiscal 15,
Mhm. Well, for the upcoming fiscal year, I actually put it in my budget proposal
for 16.
for 16.
Because this is,
Could you refer to that and explain fiscal 15?
this is 15 and 16.
Okay, yeah, unless I meant 16 for the upcoming fiscal year.
That's for the marked cruiser, but the one about the admin car.
It's for an admin car, right? These,
No, the next car that I want to purchase is going to be another line car, fully marked. I have nothing, I have no backup right now. And the
Well,
cars,
you do.
the
You
cars that
have-
I'm taking off the road,
No, you have the Hummer, which is the epitome of a backup car. It's a fully online cruiser that can go anywhere at any time, but it's not very usable, in your words,
mhm,
you know, as regular service,
right.
so. Correct?
I'm not sure what you said.
That is a backup car. I can't imagine that's not the backup car. That is the epitome of a backup car. It can go anywhere at any time, but it's not very usable.
Well, it's got no heat right now.
But like I said, it's not very usable.
Right.
You have used it,
It's a specialty use.
right, and you have used it during every snowstorm, or not every snowstorm.
No, pretty much every single.
Right, and regardless of heat or not, you can jump in the car for a few hours or not, or in the summer. It's the epitome of a backup car,
Yeah.
correct?
Well, I don't understand what the epitome of a backup. What you mean
Well,
by that.
Used everywhere.
this is what you were asking for, as a backup vehicle.
A backup line car. We can't use the Humvee as a line car. It's a specialty use vehicle.
Okay.
so we're gonna have 3 new line cars, and your hopes is an administrator, new administrator.
At some point in the
car.
future, an administrative car.
So then this isn't correct. I mean,
The years,
the
I
way
think,
this
yeah.
reads
Mhm.
is that you want an additional car this year.
No, not this year, I'm sorry. That should be 216.
they just,
And
That
then
should be
it-
217.
Okay,
they just get moved down 1 year.
One,
right?
they get moved down 1 year.
Sure.
and then we'll wait.
That clears that up.
Anybody else on the committee here have any questions for the chief?
What have you included in your budget for a new line car?
40,000.
Is it one of those interceptors again?
Yeah, we got the SUVs and,
So what, 3 of them?
we got 3 of them.
When are they coming, by the way? I mean, I'm just,
On their
this is,
4 wheels, not
I'm
on
hoping-
their.
this is a,
I'm getting the RMV ones. They were overnighted to me. I'll have those tomorrow. I'll have the plates tomorrow. I'm hoping to get a call before the end of the week saying come back home. The salesman called me today and said, I'll have the RMV ones tomorrow.
I'm not trying to, I'm just curious.
Oh, no, it's,
I mean,
believe me, it's
yeah,
a source
because
problem.
it seems kind of arduous to wait so long, but maybe
You give
not.
a special order to a new
Yeah,
car from a dealership,
right,
they'll
maybe
tell you
not.
3 to 4
Sure.
months to get it. And these are
Right, it'll
special
be 5 or
orders.
6, right, sure.
So I felt like I was mentioning, I don't know, you might not have walked in yet, I've heard every excuse from the salesman, and actually,
Sure,
He actually called me on Monday and jokingly
Yeah.
said, your car's gonna be ready until.
But they
April."
gave you a demo,
But they asked for it back, I told them no.
right, which is nice. Yeah.
I told them I couldn't have it until.
Is that what we're getting, that kind of
We're
vehicle?
getting those, yeah, it's gonna be
Yeah,
that car,
seems
but
nice.
it's gonna have the light bar on the roof. The
Yeah.
graphics would be different, obviously, it'll say demo on it.
Yeah,
And get some nice features.
great. Seems like it's-
Would it behoove the next car purchase to also check the new guy in town?
Who's the new
The
guy?
one, what was his name, Mike, from Mendon?
Oh, the guy from Mendon,
Yeah.
didn't the guy in Marlboro buy him out?
Imperial cars? They're
Yes.
long gone.
Oh, you're talking
Yeah.
about
They don't
the,
exist anymore.
Yeah.
yes, it used to be Imperial,
It used to be.
Imperial
State
municipal vehicles, yes. They-
Yeah.
MHQ bought them out, and they
Where
were no
everyone
longer
else-
Oh, they
in Milford.
did?
Yeah,
It's one side.
yeah, they were the one in
Yeah.
Milford.
What happened was
Yes.
there
Yes,
was
correct, yeah, they're not there anymore.
conflict between when he
I
So
know.
was
that,
the owner
that
for
was
that.
the
and
one
put
a
him
couple
out.
of years ago
Opened up his own
that
business
Jim,
called
you may
Imperial Cars.
remember
He was
that
undercutting MHQ's
I brought it up
prices.
to the
MHQ
chief
did a hostile
to
takeover on them.
check those out too.
So they finished that now.
Yeah, cause I got gotten that name
But I mean, everyone buys them.
Yeah,
in the fall.
almost everybody.
Yeah. Anybody else on the committee have any
I'm sure it's in here somewhere. I'll look it up.
questions for the chief as far as the police car, the phone system, or the videos in the car and in the booking area? I understand that chief, that a couple of people would like to ask you a couple of questions first.
From the committee?
No, from the.
Oh.
Not for me.
Pardon?
Not for me, no.
Jim, do you have any questions?
I have a question for you, Chief. And for those of you that don't know me, my name is Stanley Soltys. I did a little bit of investigating. I'm looking at police vehicles and mileage, maintenance, repairs, and the reason I did this, I viewed a video a couple weeks ago of your meeting, and at that meeting, there was a statement made that maintenance is not an issue in our vehicles. And I don't agree with that. If you look at that report right here, this comes from Lionel Ford, and if you look at the mileage, there's only 83,000 miles as of last September. Now, there were statements made that all the vehicles have 120,000 miles plus. It doesn't apply to that case. That vehicle's been on the road, and if you look at the problems, the town would be held liable if anything happened. That's a mistake. That's a real mistake.
Mr. Soltys, do you have a capital planning question?
I'm sorry?
Do you have a question?
Yes, I have a question. One, you
Uh,
said maintenance is not an issue. I don't agree.
Do you have a capital planning question?
No, I don't.
Okay, thank you.
What's
Any other
that got to do-
questions?
No, it's a question about the vehicles. So we were discussing vehicles,
We're discussing capital planning.
including vehicles.
Do you have a capital planning question?
Vehicles.
Okay, well, I think I answered all the questions about the cars.
Leave it up
But
to
you're
the
not
chair.
answering his question.
Leave it up to the chair.
Okay.
It's got maintenance on the vehicles, so Mr. Chairman, has nothing to do with the capital planning.
No, yes, ma'am.
I would really beg to differ. How the vehicles are taken care of is a direct result of how long they're gonna last. And if they're not being taken care of, and they're not being serviced adequately, then obviously they're not gonna last. And we're talking about putting a lot of money onto rolling stock for this town. And if we're not gonna we've shown that we haven't really taken care of the cars, why would we think that these new cars are gonna be taken care of any better? So I think it is a very important capital question, because you're asking for money for cars, and we're just asking why they didn't get fixed. So I don't understand why it's not a capital question.
I think that would be
It comes back down to maintenance.
more in line with the finance committee as far as the chief's budget is concerned, to have in his maintenance of the police cars in that FinCom budget and not a capital planning, because in capital planning, it's anything over $5,000 and 3 years. Maintenance is something that would be short term. Yeah, it's easy for you people to say a short term thing, and not a capital planning that would last years. I realize that if you do the maintenance on the vehicles, that it would intend to increase the life of the car. You know, if you don't do an oil change on your car and you keep on running it without an oil change, you know that something's gonna happen to the engine eventually. So the thing that you would have to look into would be on the FinCom, and to see that there's a maintenance log on the vehicles. As the chief said, that I don't think that it would be a capital planning issue. I think it would be more or less in your budget for repairs and maintenance on the vehicles. I don't know whether anybody else in the committee would agree with me or not, but that would be my point of view.
Sorry? I would. I mean, this vehicle is 10 years old, and a standard vehicle for emergency or police lasts only
3 years.
3 to 5 years. Because you gave me that email, oftentimes they last 5 years also. This is 5 years over that. And it's not just about the maintenance or the viability of the vehicle, it's also the age. Hoses, electrical systems, corrosion, things like that. They're not reliable. So this vehicle, regardless of its ability to function, it is too old to be a reliable vehicle. It should not be used, probably. I'm not sure if it is or not, but it's over 10 years old. So whether it's maintained or not, you know, like my vehicle is or your vehicle is irrelevant. It's about the age of the vehicle. I think some of the vehicles could go longer, but 10 years is really, really pushing it, I think. So.
Is this, I know that on a couple of vehicles that they had, there was new motors put in and everything down at Como's to try to extend the life of the vehicle. The reason for that was that at that time we were short on money. Not that we have a abundance of money to throw at vehicles or any other thing in town, but I don't know. I got a 3-year-old car that in 1 year I put on over 30,000 miles on it. Well, in fact, right now it's 3 years old and has 115 or 16,000 miles on it. Of course, I do the maintenance whenever.
There's mileage and there's mileage.
Yeah.
Safety vehicles often sit running, which they put on no miles, but the engine is running.
Yeah.
I mean, anyone can tell you that. You know, the fire chief can tell you that also. They sit there running, so they put on miles, you know, engine hours.
Yes.
So it's wear and tear. Also just the age, the hoses, the rubber, you know, the electrical systems.
Well, I would agree with you that you know they're running, and that even though they would have a low mileage, the wear and tear in the engine, I guess, would still be there.
It would, actually even more, including the exhaust system, because moisture builds up in the exhaust system.
Condensation.
Right,
Yeah.
of course. So,
Interestingly, these cars run so often, we've never replaced the exhaust.
right.
Any other questions from the committee here, or any questions from the spectators, so to speak? Yes.
Yes, I'd like to talk about basically an incident from the past, if that's okay, relative to cruisers. So if I
Yeah.
approach the table.
Unless it involves a capital expenditure, no, I wouldn't object to that, Mr. Chairman.
We're gonna have the
Well,
highway.
how could you object to it
department
when you haven't
Yes.
even heard what I said yet?
It's
So,
scheduled time?
so unless you're already biased what I have to say, I feel it's inappropriate.
If it involves a future capital expenditure, then I would say yes, let's discuss it.
Let me rephrase my question on that. Would there be any capital planning issues to be brought up with the chief? If there's any maintenance articles to be brought up with the chief, I would think that you would want to go to the finance committee for their budgets and question the chief at that time. If you do question the chief, I would probably suggest that rather than hit him cold, blank, that you would have maybe some questions that he could do some research and
Sure.
have answers for you before you hit him blindside.
I agree with the gentleman. I mean, we should hear his question, and if it pertains to the committee, we should listen to it. If it doesn't, it should be dropped. We don't know what he's gonna say.
Is it a capital planning?
Well, it's in regards to the sale of a former police cruiser. The chief of police had.
Absolutely not, Mr. Chairman. This issue
I
has
haven't
been
even
asked,
finished yet.
answered, addressed, and it was put to bed years ago.
It was not put to bed,
It's not a
sir.
capital planning issue.
You
and has no
lied to this
business-
committee,
It
sir.
has no business before this committee.
You lied to this committee about what you're doing with the police cars. That is what it's about.
I think that.
You lied the last time you were here in
Mr. Chairman.
October.
I think the thing that happened, it happened in prior years before I was on the committee, and I think that the water has gone over the dam, and by what I understand is that the issues were hashed and rehashed and everything like that.
Point of order, Mr. Chairman?
But
Pardon?
It's not an issue for this committee. We should
Okay.
stop
But-
discussion on it.
But the issue is about,
If it's-
there's several factors. One, I was here at the October meeting, and the chief is on video when you asked him, what is the lowest mileage in any car, and he told you 130,000. There's the piece of paper right in front of
Again,
you.
not a capital planning issue.
I
We need to
don't-
stop the conversation.
But you lied, chief, because that's exactly what you said on video, and we just gave you proof, and that's why I
Mr.
wanted to
Chairman,
talk
could
to
you
this
stop the
committee,
discussion,
is
I
to
think
prove to
that-
you that the chief is lying to you, he's not telling the truth, and that I'm here to help inform the committee
I think that.
in your best interest for the committee. I'm not here for the chief's best interest.
I would agree that it wouldn't be a capital planning issue, the mileage or the sale of any vehicles. I don't know whether anybody on the committee would
I agree,
agree.
absolutely. Not a point of order. Right, it's in the past. Not capital planning.
Bill?
Well,
Harold?
I have no opinion on the thing. I think we should establish some rules for decorum here. Our meetings, these aren't public hearings.
Absolutely, I agree.
I would.
It is
I
a
agree.
public hearing if you didn't know that.
No, I don't
It's
know.
a public
that.
It is
meeting.
too.
Right.
It's not
It
a
is a
hearing.
public meeting.
It's not an open
Meeting
forum.
of, it's a meeting of the committee. You can observe and listen.
It's a public
Does
forum.
anybody else have any questions for the chief? If not, thank you for your time.
Right.
And
feel free to get a hold of me, call me, email me if you want any information. If we need to get more quotes on the cruiser video, I can do that. I can solicit some other quotes.
Wait a minute, this watch guard stuff?
Watch guard is not off the state bid list, but it's a very competitive quote, according to the other chiefs that I've spoken to. The phone system is off the state bid list, so that's the lowest price they're going to get.
Do they have a comparable thing?
I should have a copy.
The state bid list?
Not that I'm aware of. I'm gonna check into it. I'm gonna check, I think the state police. are
This is
actually using
becoming
this
a
thing.
very, avant-garde,
It's on top.
yeah, so I think it's a great thing. You used to have a camera down there, I know, and video for the court and all that
Don't
stuff.
mess with me.
I think it's a great thing. I mean, you need this for our
Okay.
protection, your protection,
It's a liability issue, I agree.
our protection and your protection.
Okay.
Even cameras, I mean, I'm not sure if that's something you're interested in, but,
Just the fact that, like, the fact that.
body cameras I'm talking about.
Oh, body cameras, there's some policy issues involved with that.
Sure there are, but there is also federal grants and things like that.
I think it's money well
I'm
spent.
not sure about the, state union.
That's a bargaining
Right,
issue
sure.
also, and the audio
Sure.
for, the audio right now without third party consent and ask, we could use video.
For personal,
but not
other
audio.
people, right, sure.
It's not a crime for people to videotape the police and audio tape the police, but it is a crime for police to audio tape.
Unless it's a,
You need third party consent.
sure. I think this is a great, small money well spent.
I'm actually, I might have this chiefs meeting tomorrow, not in regards to this, but I'll reach out to some of the other chiefs and see if.
And you should see if there's a state policy or federal grant money, maybe there's federal grant money. I don't know, I mean, with the whole Ferguson thing and,
Grants are pretty dry right now.
okay.
I would think that,
It's small money well spent.
as we talked to the chief prior, that he would look into all types of grants to get any reimbursement that he can
Right.
for the town.
I just applied for 2 grants, and one grant that I applied for was for $2,500, and then I found out that 115 applications were submitted for $2 million. So we didn't see any of that money. But it's a highly competitive process. I'll look into it, not optimistic.
This is not a lot of money though, that's, could protect the town and.
Right. You know what, if a video system were to dismiss one frivolous complaint,
It's done.
it's already paid for itself.
Right.
Yes, ma'am.
I was just curious if there had been a thought that maybe a lot of these places are using like a camera that sits right on.
Body cams, yeah.
Yeah, was there
Sure.
thought that,
We just talked about that.
like in your beginning, is it not something that, is it a better option for the town?
It's a good
Body
option,
camera?
it's a separate option, but there's
There's issues regarding the use of the videos
unions
legally.
and things like that, and legalities.
It's, in light of Ferguson, it's a lot of police departments are working on it. And different
Sure.
states have already enacted it, but
We haven't.
until our legislation changes, then.
I would think that the cameras would save a lot of court issues too.
Absolutely.
Sometimes they turn off. I mean, there are problems with them.
With the body cams?
Yes, I mean, it's just, they're all subjective. What I'm saying and what you're saying are 2 different things, so. But I think they are a good option, and this is a good option too,
Oh, yeah.
And this is the first step. And we have different laws, there's different
Yeah.
rules per state and
Yeah.
policies.
Thank you, Chief, for
Okay.
coming in.
Anytime.
Thank
Have
you.
a good evening.
All set? Hi, everybody.
Hey, Tom.
Everybody have one of these updated ones, so to speak, from Tom? I noticed on some of your stuff here, Tom, that you have stuff that you're looking for that's underneath $5,000, and I don't know about the life of the vehicle, I mean of the items that you're trying to get, but they're underneath $5,000, so the thing that you may want to do is see if you can get them into your budget, or to
Yeah,
see-
it's just gonna be regular line item budget, but I just wanted to.
or to see if you can get an article to get them.
Yeah, no, and that was just it, I just wanted to put them there, just to let you know what I was thinking for this year, no big items.
No, I understand, I just wanted to bring that up.
Okay,
Looks like the first thing you have here is a street sweeper.
yes. As you can see on the little memo below, I have an oil leak in it. I sent out to have that tested around the 20th of January. I did make a follow-up phone call today to find out what they found out about that, and it is kind of MIA right now.
What's
obviously-
MIA?
Missing in action, I don't know.
What is? The
The-
street sweeper
the-
is in general, or the report?
No, there was a test, there was a.
Right,
kit that I-
you said that you were gonna do that to see if there was a leak from the engine
Right.
or from the.
I called up to find out
Yeah.
the results of that test.
So you don't know?
It's unclear where the test kit is at this point, they're looking at it today.
And that's their problem, or, I mean, they said that they don't know where it is? Whoever
Right,
you
the
sent it
the
up
test kit, I just called to find the whereabouts of the test kit today. And they don't know where the test kit is or the results, they were hoping to hear back from by the end of the day, but that wasn't the case. Obviously,
So
should
you
have.
asked today,
Say that again?
you asked today about that.
Correct. I had submitted it just before we started to get the snow, and then obviously I was straight out until about a week ago. And then even just a week ago, I was just kind of getting things situated.
Right. You said you were gonna actually send that test out last time we met.
Right, and it was sent out towards the end of, when did I send it out? I sent it out early, mid-January, early January, I sent it out. So I looked through my records to try to find out where it was, and I had in my billing records the 20th of.
So there's no,
January. It's
conclusion.
a mystery, right,
Sure.
right, conclusion. On that aspect.
And that was to find out if it was a bad gasket or a cracked block,
Just-
or where.
And that was more to find out what the material in the antifreeze was. Whether it was oil or,
Anyways.
Yeah.
90% of it is leading towards an oil leak of some sort, but where it's coming from is another situation. Could be just a gasket or it could be a cracked block. But that's something that we won't be able to find out until we start taking the motor apart. And that's obviously something, well, not obviously, but that's something that I really didn't have
Down the road.
the crew do. To a point.
Sure.
It's
You don't do
time-consuming.
engine check, right?
So
It's
it'd
a
be,
special thing.
right, it would be something that we don't find out what it is until it's sent out, and
Yeah.
it's either a new motor or a seal or
Okay.
whatever. But obviously working on that now a little bit with the sweeper.
Tom, as I understand this, wasn't this leak discovered in prior periods?
Correct, it was discovered late fall when it was discovered. And then
We
I
talked about having.
purchased the
checked.
kit.
Yeah.
I bought a kit to find out, just diagnose the problem a little bit more, to find out exactly what this material is in the antifreeze. And I got behind the ball a little bit with the snow and everything else, not making excuses up. And I just followed up on it today to find out what the result of that material is.
Isn't there
the
somebody
oil.
they can have come and check, like a professional?
But it's not a point of a professional, they're not gonna know what it is until the motor starts to come apart. I mean, I can tell you right now, I put money on it that it's oil. But whether it's a gasket or oil in the antifreeze. Or whether it's a gasket or a block, that's something that we wouldn't really be able to
But
figure
I
out.
don't think, a kit could tell you, I mean, you're saying that it depends on if it's coming from the head or the the bottom block or the upper block or, wow, like, what are you talking about? Like, does it really matter?
Sure, I mean, if the oil is good.
Could a kit tell the difference?
A kit wouldn't be able to tell where the oil's coming from. A kit would be able to confirm whether it's oil in the antifreeze or something else.
Right, and a professional could tell you that in about 10 minutes.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not a professional, but I'm pretty.
I'm saying a professional probably could. I'm not a professional either.
Right.
I'm just saying.
And that's just it. It's the whole matter of what it is. But I mean, it's,
And then.
there's no other fluid in a motor that's black.
And then it could be a gasket, it could be a seal, it could be
Correct.
valve rings, you know, a bad piston, it could be, you know, the block, it could be the lower block, the upper block. I mean, who knows what that means? Who knows what that means? So what is this gonna tell us, this, in the end? It's just gonna tell us
What's gonna
it's
tell
oil leak or a,
Whether we should fix.
whether we should fix it or not.
Yeah.
The
Right,
kit
maybe
is,
you should, maybe you should have a
And
professional
we're
come and
talking
check it out.
40,000 to 200,000.
Yeah.
So I kinda wanna know that answer.
I'd like to have it fixed for cheaper.
How is it,
oh yeah.
how is
40
it after all? I mean.
Oh, for
it's 20
repair?
years old, it's a 20-year-old piece of equipment, otherwise.
Serviceable.
This, I mean, we've had the conversation before about the dust getting into the machinery as well. It could wear a
This is
respirator.
in the compartment,
In the cab, right.
right, and that's,
I mean,
I'm not really
it's
sure
a
what that
20,
means, yeah.
what year is it?
Who cares? I mean, I'm over 20 years old,
20-year-old
aren't we all?
machine.
Okay, so
19.
we all work. Is it serviceable? So we wanna
Depends on who you
spend,
wanna ask.
right, we wanna spend $40,000 or $400,000?
400, what?
Well, I'm just saying, I'm just,
Well,
Right.
please don't embellish. 40,000 to 200,000 is a range.
oh, I'm sorry, 40,000 to 200,000.
But 40 is a replacement cost, not a repair.
And the 200,000?
A new sweeper would be 200 plus for a brand new sweeper.
So you can buy a used one for 40,
Possibly, yeah, I don't know what's out there for used equipment.
you said a replacement cost, I don't mean to embellish.
Correct.
now. Or 200,000.
Yeah, somewhere in between. Right, the machine vary. You go buy a used vehicle, you can buy something for $500, you can buy something for 50 grand. Depends on what you want. That's it's just a ballpark figure. We could get a used one for probably around 40 grand, maybe less. Something that I'd put out for bid, something that we'd have to go look at. It would be something that I'd have a mechanic
And
look at.
I guess what we're getting at is this one here, we don't actually know what the cost will be to repair it, to fix the oil leak, or
Correct.
to make it safe for the state.
Correct.
Did you ever look into
Oil leak
having
could
it,
probably
did you have
be-
it- you ever look into seeing how it could be safety for OSHA?
Safety for OSHA, no, I wouldn't look to making this one safe for OSHA based on the cab standards.
Wouldn't be worth the money put
Right.
into it because it's so old.
It's a hazard to have someone operate it the way it is now, basically. You know, I've said that before, you've had our
Yeah.
differences
Sure,
with that and
OSHA
so
is,
forth.
yeah,
and,
sure.
I mean, some of you know my personality a little bit. You know, if it can get by with getting by, I'd like to get by with.
So you're saying we really need to replace it regardless of this oil leak for $40,000 to $200,000?
Well, less than 40, depends on what's out there.
Or less than 200, or more than 200. I
Right.
mean, I'm not embellishing, I'm just saying, you just said less than 40, and I mean, on the list is 200,000, so.
Right, I have between 40,000 and 200 plus thousand.
And you said less than 40, and that means
Possibly.
more than 200 or less than 200?
Depends on how it's spec'd, if it's brand new.
Right.
Is,
I don't mean to embellish, I'm just saying.
okay, no, that's fine.
Sure.
Like I said, you can go buy a used vehicle for.
So really,
500
we're just
bucks.
wasting our time checking the oil level, because it's really not serviceable.
It depends on what's wrong with it. If it's just a gasket,
It's not serviceable for OSHA for the compartment.
Yeah.
It's not
that would-
fit to use.
You could put it at that term.
I could put it in lots of terms. I don't wanna embellish. I'm just saying, is it fit to use now or not?
Can it be made fit to use?
Can it be made?
It
fit
could
to
probably
use?
be made to fit use. I
You
mean,
just
would
said
be-
it couldn't be, because the cab is not fit to use.
Right, but you know, you wanna put, I don't know how much it would be to reseal the cab to make it airtight with air conditioning and everything that OSHA would require. It's just, you know, we could use the respirator, as you said. I don't know if I'm gonna be able to find someone to drive the machine with a respirator, so to speak, but it's, you know, it's.
Does
that's what they're
OSHA
told to do.
require air conditioning?
No, but they would require.
They don't.
No, I don't believe so. no.
Okay, you just said they did.
No, I never said that OSHA required air conditioning. I said that OSHA required a cab to be sufficient for airtight,
Okay.
for sufficient breathing.
Okay.
Okay, if you know, I don't wanna be an a-hole, but if you
All
wanna
right,
hash
right,
it out
no,
a
no,
little
no,
bit more.
that's
You know, when
fine.
a guy gets done driving this,
Yeah,
he
yeah,
blows his nose and it's brown, okay?
No, I understand, and it's very
Okay.
bad. It's toxic
I mean,
stuff.
the town's got quite a few lawsuits now, we can keep going,
No, and sand is
Just-
very bad. I understand.
okay, just on paper, we can find a better deal, I'm all for finding a better deal, trust me.
Sure.
Thanks for updating us on that condition of that equipment.
Sorry, it's not really updated to what either of us would like to have out, but
No, it's on the, it's on a list, it's on a list, a watch list as far as I'm concerned.
Have you looked for used equipment?
Mr. Chairman, I'm gonna have to take leave at 8 o'clock, I have another commitment.
have I looked for a used street treatment? No, I haven't.
Okay. I just didn't know if there was something out there.
I've talked with people on before, I know they're out there, I did speak to a dealership that takes a lot of them in on trade.
Have a good evening, Bill.
When I talked to them, they didn't really have so much to take in on a trade at that time, just because of the season, but as new ones get sold, they take them in on trade. So the used possibility is out there. It just depends on the condition of the used one and which way the town wants to go with the cost. I mean, it's expensive for
Just
one piece of equipment.
Wonder if they have them.
They're probably starting to get used ones in now, yeah.
Okay.
I would tend to say that now.
Would you have Elgin look at it to see if everything is in good shape, if you were to get a used one?
Oh, yeah, I would definitely have it looked over by someone. I mean, it's, even if we're gonna be to buy it, it would be an item that would be for bid, and it would be some kind of warranty involved with that. But yeah, I would certainly look the machine over before, or have someone look it over before we purchased it. I mean, I'd do the same process with the, as I did with the wing plow truck.
What would be the warranty on the machine?
I don't know at this point, I'm sure it varies from dealership to dealership. Depends on how old the machine was being traded in too. You know, some towns get rid of them after 3 years. Others keep them for 10, others keep them till they need a new one. It all depends on what the equipment is. And that's just it, there's just so many variables. And kind of like Mr. Schlosstein said, it's just kind of something out there. So
I would think with a 20-year vehicle that it wouldn't bring in that much money.
Right, and that's the thing.
But it's a very limited use vehicle, and your price range is wildly separate. It's from $40,000 to
Yeah.
$200,000, and you can't go into the town floor and say, I want to spend between $10,000 and $800,000. You can't do that. You
Right,
have to say
and it would be the point of, okay, does the town, between this board and the Board of Selectmen, do we wanna look at the used option? Or do we wanna go brand new? If it was a used option, I'd start scoping out for used vehicles.
we're not a brand new town, so I would say no.
Correct,
So no, not brand new.
and that's the whole point.
Well, there
Are we
you go.
gonna look for used, or is it?
I don't know.
Are we
I would
thinking-
say we're not a brand new town.
No,
We're not
for a
gonna spend,
sweeper, I would agree
we're not
with
gonna spend $200,000 on a piece of equipment that we use for a month.
I would totally agree with that.
So, I would rather spend $40,000 on a piece of equipment used for a month that's OSHA approved, like, you know, you said it. I would not wanna be in a sweeper.
Yeah, no, and that's.
I would
and that's
not
the
wanna
whole
be
point.
near a street sweeper, and you have people sweeping the road that are near them, and then the dust is flying everywhere, and it's very toxic, you know,
And
sand.
that's the whole point with the numbers, is it's just,
Yeah.
you know, a used is probably around 40, maybe a little less, maybe a little more. Or if you, the newer you go.
If it's OSHA approved used, let's look into that.
Oh, yeah, I would,
But if it's, I mean, I'm not sure, you know, diesel, gas, who cares? You know, fuel is fuel, diesel's better, you know,
yeah, I don't
gas.
think they make any gas ones anymore.
They don't, but for a month, you know, you only use it for a month.
Yeah.
You
depending
know,
on the season.
A question, if OSHA came in and inspected it, do you know what a fine would be?
I can certainly look into that, for
I
sure.
don't
I
know.
mean,
Yeah,
Yes.
fine would be about $200,000 and a lawsuit for about $2 million per person.
it's,
that
yeah,
uses
it's
them.
that's the whole
Silicosis.
thing,
It's
it's,
called silicosis. Sand is really toxic stuff.
Oh, yeah, but I'm saying, would they, you know, say, hey, this not gas, and now you have to pay this fine
They
of
would probably just say you
$500.
can't use it.
They would?
yeah, I would go more on that term with the municipality. I'm not, I don't know offhand for sure.
They
But I
would just
mean-
let you use it?
No,
No,
they
they-
would say you
no,
Oh,
cannot
you
use it.
cannot use it, okay, I missed the.
And then the employee will sue you.
Yeah,
And that's what he was alluding to earlier about the lawsuits. I believe,
That's,
'cause it's
nothing I wanna see.
no.
Well, with these things, probably the thing that you'd wanna do is to, look into,
I'll-
getting a used one and then have a, more accurate figure as far as that you could put on an article to get the, street sweeper. I know that, as Steve has said, that there's not, you know, to spend a lot of money for something you're gonna
Yeah,
use
no, it's pointless.
for a month.
it's not pointless because apparently when we try to rent them, they're all used. Apparently that's what's going on.
Yeah,
I mean, they're
it's a
all
hard, it's a specialty item. Everyone needs it in the
at
spring.
that time.
You know, a lot of towns sweep, you know, like I talked to some acquaintances that I go to business meetings and they sweep every Friday, all summer long.
Is there any chance in going in cahoots with, several towns to, get one?
That would be a possibility, but the problem is with theirs, everyone needs it. Everyone needs it in April.
Everyone needs it,
You have the first 2 weeks and the other, and I don't have the other 2 weeks, something like that.
I mean, how
that's-
many miles, is it a 5 mile an hour vehicle? You know what I'm saying, it's like.
No, it goes faster than that.
But what I'm saying is that, can you do, you know, like.
Well, yeah, you could, I mean, town to town, you could transport it. I mean, it might take 45 minutes an hour to get there, but.
You don't have to
it's gonna be-
transport it, you have to clean the street
On the way.
on the way.
Yeah, on the way.
That's what I mean, like,
Well,
If it's smooth enough to do.
Yeah.
well, you can do the state for free, but,
But I mean,
Anyway.
even just the time frame. I know I did a lot a couple of years ago, and I had the entire crew sweeping for 6 weeks, and that's all we did.
right.
But I mean, I did pretty much the whole town in that time frame too.
So,
Right,
assuming we don't wanna buy the Rolls Royce, cause we got that one,
Yeah, no, it
Uh,
makes sense.
but we don't wanna buy the 38 Studebaker. What, and you must
I'll
know
take
the
that
prices
Studebaker.
of used ones. What range are you comfortable with? In other words, for what you think you need and what would service
I'd
the
wanna see
town,
what's out there
what-
for different
what's
prices.
the price range?
You know, I'm thinking if,
but you haven't
just
looked yet.
hypothetical, it's 2014, if we could find something 2007, 2008 for $45,000 to $55,000, that might be worth.
That meets
So-
OSHA standards.
Yeah, depending on what it is.
Would 70,000 cover anything in that would be?
I would tend to
serviceable?
say yes, but not seeing what's out there and what the prices of used ones are, I can't.
You can't guess.
Right, I don't wanna
You
guesstimate,
have
it's just
to,
the
you
whole
have to
point
give
of
us
finding out
a range of.
a little more, a better range,
Yeah,
that
that's
$160,000 range, yeah.
That's
And
a big
the whole
range.
thing, is find out which way
I'll give you
you
a
guys
dollar
wanna go with.
or $160,000. There's a big range there. I mean, it's a little too much of a range.
I guess
Yeah.
what Tom's saying, if there's 1,000 out there, you can get it cheaper than if there's only 10 out there.
Yeah, not even considering that, it's just, you know, it's, depends on, maybe everyone traded them in last year, and there isn't many out there. But I mean, it's,
Yeah.
can go all over the
I
country.
think you
Gavin.
should seize the day. You can, not all over the country, because
No, but
New England maybe.
within 500 miles a year, we
New
could,
England, yeah,
could
sure.
get one shipped, if it was worthwhile.
Right, right.
Okay, how about renting one of these?
The thing with renting is everyone wants them at the same amount of time, and they'll.
And then you can never guarantee
Eighth
it.
year, it's,
Right.
that was for the,
And we had
I got a
talked
price for the catch basin truck. The best way to do that would to be probably bid a contract to have someone come in and do it. So.
How much would that be?
All depends on what came in as a bid for a contract. It's the same type of deal.
Has it ever come in before?
I don't believe the town's ever done it before.
Maybe we should look into it.
Yeah, no, I
I
agree.
mean,
with you.
maybe it'd be cheap. I
That
don't
is,
know.
that is something that I'm looking into a little bit more as well, is subbing out some of the stuff, like the sweeping. And, you know, it doesn't really have to do with much as capital planning as much as finance, but, the roadside
Catch
mowing.
Mowing?
That's something that's done, I mean, with the machine I have, that's every day in the summer, I have one employee out mowing. Which that time consuming.
Yeah, but what else would that employee be doing? I mean, that's what you do in the summer, like mow. Right.
But there's,
I mean, I'm sure there's other things you can be doing, you know.
but it's the point of, I'm looking to replace that machine down the road, so to replace.
Right, but one person, say, makes whatever, just arbitrarily 50,000.
35.
Okay.
35,000 a year.
$35,000 a year. The summertime, $18,000 a year. With the machine that we already own for the winter time, which is just maintenance, which costs, and fuel, which costs, you're talking, $45,000 a year. So can you have all the streets in Warren mowed for $45,000? Probably not. You could?
Yeah, I believe so. I
Less
know
than
Brimfield subs a gentleman with a tractor.
And how much does that
I
cost?
think it's like $5,000, and I think he does it twice a year.
$5,000.
But it doesn't take him, yeah.
Instead of
5,000 like a week.
Instead of $45,000. It takes him 1 week. So you're saying
Depending
that.
on what roads he does and the mileage.
No, we're
Mileage
talking
can be
about
different.
all the roads in Warren. Not the roads or the roads that he does, but all the roads. All the roads have to be done.
Correct, and that's what.
Except for the state roads, of course.
Right.
How many miles does he do? I guess that would be a
That's-
better.
Right, that's what I don't know.
Right,
I know
I
it
mean,
takes him about a week
Brimfield
and a
could
half.
have 5,000 miles, and we could have 25,000 miles. I have no idea.
Right.
I actually
I
don't
know
know
it
the
takes him
miles.
about a
You
week and a
know.
half a time to do. And I think it's $5,000 every time he comes in.
And you have two sides of the road. So if you have 5,000 miles of road or 1,000 miles of road, you have 2,000 miles
Right.
of road. I mean, I don't know how that is. You must know more than me. How many miles of roads are in Warren?
Warren is 62 miles of center line.
62 miles. And how many is state?
That's the roads that I'm responsible for.
So we only have 120 miles of road on each side. So
Right.
you're saying that it takes one person a half a year to mow
It's a constant.
120
That's
miles?
on Southbridge Road.
Wait a second. The guy in Brimfield can do it in
It's
twice.
a big machine.
Okay. Right. Then better equipment. I don't know.
Right, no, that's
Yeah.
fine. But I'm saying that when I say it's year round, it's like, it's a constant thing. Like if they start on Southbridge Road, do the town. By
It's
the time they-
110 miles of road
Right, yeah. By the time
on
they
each
finish.
side.
Correct.
Right.
I mean, that doesn't include the little downtown areas, which we don't do.
Right.
Because of,
Sure.
it's all residential, obviously. Some of the areas I do, but
But
most
at
of the
3
downtown.
miles an hour, that's like 30 days.
So by the time you do Southbridge Road, 30 days later, it's time to do it again.
But they do it twice, and you do it, well,
I'm
every 30 days, you
constantly
must do
doing
it 4 or 5 times a year.
Depending on the season, yeah.
Do you need to?
Probably not.
Okay, well, that's something too.
No, that's, and that's another
I'm
option
not
too.
trying to
No, and that's just
second guess
it.
or
It's,
anything. I mean, he has a better equipment. That's what
different
you're saying.
areas. You know,
Different
if there's
type
no
of
stone
roads.
walls, if you can, just, if
Different
it's
type
just
of
a
roads.
banking, you
Sure.
can cruise right along. If there's stone walls or telephone poles or guardrails,
Different type of roads.
changes things.
Sure.
But just an example, that's something that they're doing, and then you know, that's another call I could make to find out, but I mean, that's down here on the track list anyways.
For the mowing. Yeah, well, that there's, coming up in future years, I think the thing that we wanna do is just look at the, things that you wanna get in 2016, not go beyond that. You're looking for a new, dump body?
Yes. The dump body I have on one of the trucks now is, its useful life is over. It's not even worth repairing because the metal is so thin. So I could either take that body off and make it a straight sander, or we could continue or replace the body to keep it as a dump truck. Do it just as plain dump body, or the purchase of a combination body, which is a dump body with a sander built in.
But, you're saying that the base of the truck is?
The walls.
The walls. Could
The
you,
walls,
could you get a, piece of steel that would do the?
I could
walls?
probably rebuild the whole body for 10 grand. It's not worth it.
It's not worth it.
It's not worth. I'm not looking to repair this body. It's done. It's got fiberglass on it now, covering up some of the holes. It's done. And there again, as prices could fluctuate a little bit too, depending on what we wanted to purchase. You know, if it's just a straight steel dump body, could be as low as 15, depending on what manufacturer. Get something that allows,
You said you could repair it for 10,
it's not worth repairing.
but you did just say you could repair it for 10.
I don't know.
Is that correct?
I don't know what the price would be to replace it for 10.
Okay. I thought you just said you could repair it for 10.
Possibly. Depending
But you're
on how
gonna
much-
replace it for 15, that would be a better deal.
In my eyes, yes.
Okay.
In
And
your
you're
eyes,
just
maybe
talking-
not.
You're just talking about the body,
No,
not
I'm
the truck
just-
itself.
I
Correct.
actually
Just the
haven't
dump
seen
body.
it or anything. I don't know. I mean, you know, it's sight unseen. It's a pig in a poke, they call it, you know, so. I don't know. But you're saying you could repair it for 10, but you replace it for 15, which is a better deal. So.
It could be less to repair, could be more. I know I just had a small one done on the 03 550 that we have. That was, I think that was $4 grand.
Mhm. It's still cheap
So-
compared to 15.
Correct, but that one was worth repairing. This one's not.
It's
In
just,
my opinion.
it's just falling apart.
Right, if you guys wanna look at it and
No, it's just.
want me to repair it, I'll
It's
repair it.
dying, it's dying, so. I'm not there, I'm not trying to second guess you, I'm just,
Well, you come across that way, sorry.
I am, I understand. But I'm sight unseen. You just said
Come on down, I can show
5,000, and I will. I mean, do you think it would be better to have a dual body vehicle?
In this day and age, yes, because depending on how it's set up, I could apply some of the newer technology with spray materials that would cut down on the amount of sand, it would cut down on the amount of salt. It would be a little bit better for the roads in wintertime, stronger de-icing components depending on what we use. There's the beet juice out there, there's obviously the corrosive stuff, which I really wouldn't want to lean to, but it just gives us the option for that depending on the weather situation. You know, if we have the ability to do it, we get a ice storm, it would be better equipped for that type of situation. There again, it's almost like the sweeper. How often does that happen?
Right, but if you have the ability, you also have the ability to store it, right? I mean, then you need storage tanks.
For the beet juice, well, and that's the whole thing, yeah.
So that's a separate cost?
Yeah.
But how
that's
much would that be?
something I haven't looked into yet.
Okay,
But it's just the whole point of, you gotta start someplace with one to.
but you can't just buy something to hope for something else.
Correct.
You need to,
Correct.
okay,
Totally understand that.
Okay.
It's just in the foresight and just trying to get out
but
what
good money after
what I'm
that is,
thinking.
right. You should spend the money that you need to spend to better, not make it worse.
Yeah. And then it comes down to that. I mean, that would be tanks and spray bars on the equipment. But I know now, Brimfield has a tank set up, and that's something that we could use with the co-op, is go down there and fill the tank up, no storage.
The
All
co-op,
separate.
like with Brimfield, like Jerry was saying,
Yeah.
like, do they have that?
He's been applying I believe it's a beet juice.
No, I mean, do they have a cooperative
Yes,
town?
we have a cooperative legal writing all set up now.
So.
It's something I haven't talked to them about yet, but it's something that we are part of, and if they have the tank storage facilities, that's something that we could, you know, if we happen to get a vehicle that could use the materials, we have access to it, providing we get there okay.
And do they have the capacity, right?
Yeah, and all that stuff, and that's
So-
just, and basically what I'm doing is, what makes it difficult for you guys is throwing out a whole bunch of stuff, trying to get it narrowed down.
So as I understand it, what you do is on these dump body and the sweeper, you have a range here. Could you get a more up-to-date price?
Yeah.
And also give us a price on the two items, and also, when could you have the price, I could,
3 weeks,
3 weeks?
if that.
Is it something we need for this town meeting?
Well, yeah, if we're going to
Just
say
something-
yeah, that we would agree with it or not. And we have to have our paperwork in, so they could put it with the FinCom report and get it out to the voters to look at. So.
Is it
could
something you want?
Could you narrow it down quicker than 3 weeks?
You can definitely see what I would do.
Also, you say that the, I'll just pick on the dump body. You say that there is rotten. If you have salt and stuff in there, whenever it comes back from doing the sanding and throwing salt in the road, do you wash it down?
I wash the trucks as soon as I'm able to, pretty much. I mean, I can be flat honest, some of the trucks haven't been washed until this week, until before the
freezing.
26th of January.
It was freezing, it was absolutely freezing.
Right, I
Can I
got a wash bay, but it's just the whole point of, you know, I open the doors when it's 5 below zero to stores my heat.
It's probably
And it's
below
just been-
zero inside.
And it's just been the whole point where we haven't stopped for a month and a half. So I haven't had a chance to wash the trucks.
No, I under,
But under normal
I
circumstances, we get a snowstorm, do our thing, come back, nothing in sight, trucks get washed.
so underneath a normal, winter, you would wash them either that day or the next day?
Next day or the day after that, depending on the storm.
Yeah, no,
Which
no.
is another reason
No,
why-
I understand that.
Yeah. Which is another reason why I wanted to get those mud flaps, the fenders that I got approved for.
Okay.
Those
Is there any other thing besides these two items that you would be looking?
For large items for this year, no.
No? Okay, why don't you see if you can get the, price within a couple of weeks, and if you can get those,
When do you need your paperwork in, Jerry?
well,
Well, when would you rather?
I'd-
I'll push for a week and a half.
really what I would like to get it, I'd like to get it, 9 o'clock tonight,
Yeah,
okay?
One of those deals,
No,
huh?
2 hours ago.
Because the thing that, I'd like to do is to get it in with the FinCom report, as we've done in the past, and, say what we have, listed there, and whether we agree with it or not, If,
I mean, this could be-
if we agree upon your, street
Street
sweeper, okay? We can say, yeah, we agree that, your street sweeper is worth $55,000, okay?
A used one.
If we think that, $55,000 is too much, we'd say, hey, we disagree with it. Maybe you should go out for a rental or, have a contractor do it or something, whatever. I don't, would you have enough, time within, 2 weeks to do that?
It could be something where I could simply make a phone call and I say, yeah, I got this year for this price and I got this year for that price. And then it'd give me a better idea.
Okay, I don't wanna get you at the end of the cliff and push you off. You understand what I'm trying to
Right.
say? Okay? With that, I don't think that there's a heck of a lot more we could say with this, unless somebody has, something to add to the conversation. I don't think, questioning you and saying, hey, you don't really know what the price is going to be is kind of dragging this thing out and not accomplishing anything
Right.
besides keeping everybody here. And, I don't think that that's a wise decision to do. Does anybody have any, questions for Tom while he's here? Sue? Harold? I don't have any, questions. With that, I would thank you for coming in, and, if you could give me a call, because I don't do a heck of a lot of stuff with, email. I think you have my, phone number.
Yeah, you called me from your house today?
Yes, I did.
Alright, yeah, I got that number. I'll just jot it down, give you a call.
Okay,
Like I said, it could be
I just called you up just to remind you, so,
because of past incidents.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, thank you.
good.
No, the time change.
Pardon?
The time change.
That was the reason.
No, well, it didn't
No,
have to do with the time
And,
change.
and the power outage. We had power outage.
No, I know that.
No, it didn't have to do with that
No,
either.
all right. We don't have electricity, so.
I know that.
Alright, like I said too, this could be a case where I could call up a couple of suppliers and I could say I have,
Is that what you do? You
Yes.
call up like, groups?
different dealerships.
Yeah, sure. And they have something for this or that, and, because if you can
No,
seize the day, seize the day, and if you can't, you might have to wait, whatever, but, maybe you
Yeah.
can seize the day in August, or,
Because I would like to, as I say, get this, information into the,
I'll
into
talk
the book.
I'll talk to the sales reps and just ask, ballpark figure within $5,000
And the, also the,
type deal.
And if,
Subject.
if they say it's 13, maybe you wanna go up to 15 or something like that. to
Right.
Round it off,
Right, that's what I mean, just
Yeah.
get me an hour of.
yeah.
that's a pretty wide range.
No, I understand that, and that's the whole point
I
is,
didn't mean to
I
be,
used one is around there, but if you go up to new,
sure.
it's just the whole point of pointing out to you guys that a new piece of equipment of that magnitude is way more than the average Joe Schmo thing is. I mean, the sidewalk plow I have,
The motor is worth more.
So,
just to buy
I know.
that machine new is
The-
over
the motor.
$100,000.
Yeah.
I thought,
I had to order a fuel cap for it. It was $90 for a fuel cap.
I sell them, I make a killing.
I think, I
What's the order number?
I think,
Put a lock and put a thing on it, will you?
I think Tom has answered
No, I mean,
questions
equipment's
the
expensive.
best he can without having detailed information.
Yeah, and I apologize for sort of wasting everyone's time a little bit.
I would think
Range, but
that,
it's just-
with that, we can adjourn.
No.
No?
I would first like to make a motion, we act on the previous minutes.
Thank you.
Oh, I was gonna say where we don't have a quorum on the previous minutes to.
We don't.
We do have a quorum,
Oh, we do. Yeah.
Oh, 4? I
Yeah.
thought it was 5.
4.
No.
There's
four.
7 on the committee.
Oh, okay,
Okay.
4 is fine.
Okay, I'm
There's
sorry.
6 on the committee now, right?
No,
I'm an
The-
old guy, I'm
just
80
'cause somebody
years old, I can't
is
count
Gone doesn't mean there's
too
less.
much on my fingers.
It just means there's somebody
What kind of
missing.
math do you do?
No. You got
He's
7 on the
gone, but-
committee.
No, there's 7 on the committee.
Quorum,
Just
4.
because somebody's missing
Yeah.
doesn't mean there's less.
But Jimmy
You
isn't
know.
on it anymore.
But it doesn't mean there's less. It still means you need 4 for a quorum.
Yeah,
Right.
That's just how it works.
yeah.
That's the math I do, I'm sorry. It's not my math, it's the government's math.
That explains everything
Yeah,
that's wrong.
it's not, yes, I
Anyway.
agree,
I
yeah.
make the motion, we approve the previous minutes.
Please, thank you.
What,
Second,
I would like to defer the vote on the previous minutes
Why?
until David and Bill could be here, even though we have a quorum, just in case if they have any.
if you'd like to, I wouldn't mind deferring.
Okay.
Okay,
Not bad.
because they may have something. And
Withdraw your second?
Did,
I
What?
withdraw my,
You withdraw your second, I'll withdraw my motion.
actually, I withdraw my
Okay.
second,
Do
it's
it
fine.
okay.
We'll defer.
I don't,
Pardon?
were
We're
they
deferring.
sent by computer,
No,
email?
oh, they were, yes.
Way back before the snow.
Yes, a long time ago.
Okay, I
You
may,
do not have one?
I may have them. Okay,
I think I might have a copy here.
an extra copy?
Yes, I do.
Okay, good.
Should I be keeping these puppies? That's the notice that gets put up. And I always,
That's it. And adjourn,
Yep,
second?
all in favor?
Aye,
Aye.
All right,
thank you.
thank you for coming, and if you can get that information to me, I would